going the distance with local sports. This is the xSports Network.
Great food is just a short drive to Hinie's BBQ in Lawrenceburg. Mouth-watering is just one.
If you're stuck, then you're in luck. Call Tyler McDowell with In-Service Towing, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for quick, reliable service. When you find yourself in a bind, In-Service offers full-service towing and recovery services as well as vehicle lockouts, jump starts, and emergency roadside assistance. Family-owned, family-operated. When you need a hand, call In-Service Towing or ask for them by name. Serving Southern Tennessee and North Alabama. Phone number 931-843-9098 or visit inservicespecialties.com.
Are you looking for the perfect refrigerator? What about a new stove or washer or dryer? It only makes sense to shop at the one place that specializes in appliances, top to bottom, big or small. And that's Kelly Appliance in Lawrenceburg. Kelly Appliance is home to all major name brands, including LG. LG makes life good with a full selection of refrigerators, cooking appliances, dishwashers, microwaves, and more, including appliances made right here in Tennessee. Family owned and family operated. Stop by Kelly Appliance on Jerry Street in Lawrenceburg today.
Like you, our roots are in Lawrence County, providing banking for every stage of life since 1934. Lawrenceburg Federal Bank has been not just your bank, but also your friend, helping you with home loans, consumer and auto loans, and your everyday personal banking needs. Lawrenceburg Federal offers you a warm smile and personal experience, as well as the conveniences of modern-day online banking, mobile banking, and telebanking. Lawrenceburg Federal Bank, your neighbor and friend, located at 118 West Gain Street next to the courthouse.
From the xSports Network, this is xSports Live, presented by Hinie's BBQ.
Welcome here to xSports Live, brought to you by Hinie's BBQ. Right off the get-go, we're joined by the head coach of the Loretto Lady Mustangs volleyball team here, Nick Quillen. Nick, thanks for joining us here tonight.
Always.
Right, you know, brought your parents.
That's right.
They're giving everyone
barbecue.
They're getting everyone some cheese sticks and some nachos.
That's right.
We're having a party here on the back porch. So
nice and cool right now.
For now,
For now.
Yeah. It didn't feel that way earlier today, but kind of a lull here. We were talking off air a little bit that you guys don't have any games tomorrow, and next week it really picks back up again. But you guys, first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, you're playing 4 or 5 matches, a week. You get to this week, it's just one. So is it a good thing here for your team to kind of get their legs back underneath them?
I think so, and we try to pack as many games into a season as we can. And same thing we were talking, we play a ton to kind of prepare us for whether it's having to play a lot in a row in postseason or having to play a 5-set match and then have to turn around and do something else. So we try to almost build the endurance and prevent fatigue, but we played, I think I counted it up, 19 matches the first 2 weeks, and so this is our the girls got a little bit of a break this week, and so we're still practicing, getting some good practice in, and then next week, we've got Lawrence County at home Monday, and then we're back to 3 games a week and tournaments on the weekends, and getting back into the full groove like we were before.
Yeah, we're kind of here at the midway point. You guys start kind of the middle part there of August. Does this season just fly by?
It really does, and it's one of those that up until season starts, I'm ready for the season. I'm anxious and ready to go, and then you blink and it's the end. It's postseason, and that's what I was talking to somebody today, and we were talking about how we're halfway. Regular season is halfway over. So
yeah, it's because you look at it from the football side of things. You guys will start. Some teams won't even hit the halfway point of their own season by the time you guys start the postseason here in a couple weeks. So it's just a crazy time. But just assess your team's play here. You've obviously undefeated in district play, doing really fine there, taking on some tough teams out of the district. So how do you think this team has done so far?
We're very pleased with where they're at right now, which, when I spoke back before, talked about, they're a fun group, they're energetic, they want to get out there and play, and they want to win as a team, and that's, whether it's on the floor or on the bench, either way, So we've been really pleased with that, and you know, obviously we're very pleased with where we are in the district right now. You know, just looking at stats, seeing other teams in our division, you know, we like where we're at, but we can't get comfortable. You know, we want to keep playing these big tournaments on the weekend and playing teams that, quite frankly, could beat us pretty easily, because then we can assess more of, okay, we need to work on this more for the teams that we know we're going to have to play, because, you know, the season doesn't matter once you get into the postseason. You know, at that point, that's when it matters the most. So, you know, we try to prepare ourselves as much as possible now, and then once postseason starts, it's like season part 2.
So I think I read a stat, or someone posted, you guys posted on your Twitter, your Facebook, you're leading the state in aces.
Yeah,
right
Aubrey
now?
Ezel, we looked today going through stats, and she is actually currently first in district, state, division, and nation in aces right now. So it's pretty cool little stat to have. And you know, season's still going on. You know, that could definitely change, but either way, you know, that's a great thing to be proud of, both from her and, you know, us and Loretto to have.
Yeah, I know every game I've been to, and every game when I'm strolling through the highlights every night for xSports Tonight, I always find at least 5 Aubrey aces. I mean, is it fun for you as a coach to watch it? Because she's your ace, you know, you start off with her right off the get-go, and she goes up there, and that thing looks so hard to handle from everyone's perspective.
You know, she's got a nice flat float, and a float, if you're unfamiliar, is almost like a knuckleball. If you can get it to where it contacts perfectly, it's not going to go to the same spot twice. You know, it'll go in the general vicinity, but it may drop off the table, it may curve, you know, you never know. And she's got a really, really nasty float serve. So.
Yeah, and you got JC Franklin that's kind of coming on strong with that as well.
Yes.
I mean, your whole team, you know, Allie doesn't, you know, she's so smooth in what she does as well. It just seems like every time someone goes up there and serves at Becca from the left-handed perspective, ball spins differently, and you got to be just so thrilled with your rotation is serving the ball.
Yes, and the girls, I know they get tired of it, but we serve and pass every single practice, and you know, we've done everything from hitting zones to timing them to you got to get, you know, this many in a row, whatever it may be. Like they've done, I can't even count the amount of serves they've probably served in practice. So to be where we are with how well that everybody we have serves, like we're really happy where we're at with that.
Now, I know Allie's role has changed a bit. I know she never comes off the court, but you know, she starts on the back line. We've seen her set. She does so good with the digs on the back line, but then obviously in part of the rotation, she moves up and starts getting some kills. I know her role has changed, but she seems to have really embraced and is really thriving in that role right now.
Yes, and she's an athlete. You know, coming from that family, she's an athlete. And she's willing to do whatever we need her to do, and you know, we're fortunate enough that she's good at whatever we need her to do. And she, you know, her stats, she's, you know, got a lot of kills, but she's also got a lot of digs. And you know, if it wasn't for Aubrey, she would probably lead in digs. So you know, she does a lot for us, and you know, we kind of, volleyball's a chess match sometimes, and so we started off with her in the front row, and now we've started off with her in the back row, kind of getting her to the front, you know, a little bit later. But yeah, she does a lot for us.
And obviously your front row players, Mallory, Alyssa, Anna Kate has come on, you know, nobody knew who she was a year ago. Everybody knows who she is now. And almost like an embarrassment of riches of how much talent and how well they've been playing so far.
Well, and you know, it's one of those that, same thing we talked before, you know, a lot of them play club ball. And you know, some of the younger ones like Anna Kate and Ella Potts, and some of them that they've played together for a long time. But last year it was more about, you know, let's get them just a little bit of playing time in varsity. You know, they may not do the greatest. You know, either way, they're just getting that time in there, and you know, they've really just filled that role this year, and just they come in and it's almost seamless, and having them playing together, there's just that connection. Like Becca and Anna Kate, you know, they have a really good connection setting. They all do, but you know, especially the that play together in the off season, you know, they do a really good job. But
Well, with your rotations, I know we're going to kind of go into a volleyball for dummies segment right here, but how do you guys kind of, I know you can change them, and you can change them set to set or literally change them in the game. How do you guys kind of prepare? Is it just who you like on the court at the same time, or is it, you're kind of preparing for who you're facing that day?
For the most part, we kind of have a standard rotation. We don't usually change ours a lot. We may on occasion change where we start, but we usually kind of keep the same, I guess, matchups as far as like who's setting who's beside who, and a lot of that is just, we want to keep it balanced, but we also, depending on who we play, like if we start in this rotation, we want to match them up against a blocker on the other side. So it's all, like I said, sometimes it's kind of a chess match. Like you kind of have to plan a couple steps ahead and try to figure out who's going to match up with who and who gets front row in. And but that's what we use postseason. Even sometimes, a lot of people that have watched before, we may get to the halfway point and just completely change it. Like I've done that before. It's like, all right, we're going to try this and see what it is. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But
you got to try something.
That's right.
That's sometimes a sign of a good coach is you just take that game plan, throw it in the trash, and just
start from scratch.
But when it comes to the rotations, I mean, you don't lose anything when someone comes out the way your team is stacked right now, and you got to be really happy that Becca has to go out, or Becca has to now go to outside hitter. JC can now set everybody. Aubrey and Allie, Allie's shifting from the front and the back, and just everyone that you have, it's, you don't have any weaknesses really on the court at any time.
Well, and one thing with volleyball is you have a limited amount of subs. Now liberos don't count, but anybody else does. And in past seasons, and especially when you run a 6-2 with two setters, like you're using a lot of subs. And so this year, having Allie play all the way around, having Becca play all the way around, like we're not losing that to where we're getting into a pinch. Like last year, state championship set 2, we ran out of subs. It was like 32-30 at the end, and at that point, it's just like, all right, you're here. We got to figure out how to keep it going. But by having players that can do that can play all the way around, that helps that scenario a lot.
That was a crazy. That was one of the most. I mean, it wasn't good for you guys, but it was, from my perspective, it was crazy entertaining. But so you guys have now gone through a kind of a rotation through district play. Played everybody once already. How would you assess your competition? Assess how your team has handled the competition.
I think that we establish, who, which obviously, Summer Town's our big, from any standpoint you look at it. And when we step out there, we know the impact of what district means. With our district, we have 7 teams, so if you come in first place during the season, you get a bye in the district tournament. So it doesn't matter what district team we're playing, like we know, like we've got to step out there and take care of business, take care of the ball on our side of the net, put the pressure on the team on the other side of the net, so that way we get those district wins, and then coming into district tournament, we get that bye at the end. Some years we get it, some years we don't. It's just however it falls, but that's kind of our game plan. Is we've been fortunate enough to step out on the floor every match this year, especially district. Like, okay, we've got to take care of business and get it done.
And it's just one of those, you can't overlook any opponents.
Exactly.
These are the most important games, and your team has done a really good job so far. Just like you said, just taking care of business and doing what's in front of them right now.
Right, and we've played everybody once, like you said, and it's great to be undefeated at this point, but same like we talked, it's not over until you play that second half. You still got the second half to get through, and then same thing, it kind of resets again, and you're going into district tournament, and it keeps going until you're either out or you get to state.
So what do you want to see out of your team here as you make your next slide? I know you got Lawrence County again. You got to play them at home coming up on Monday, and you got Summertown again, the rest of the district. What do you want to see out of your team here as the second half of the season?
I think our biggest thing, and we've already done well, I think, at this, is just, like I said, keeping the energy up, and we've been really trying to run a faster offense. We're really happy where we are defensively. We're scrappy with whoever's back row. We're getting touches on blocks. Obviously, we want to be better at all that stuff, but our offense, like we've been really trying to speed that up, move the ball around, and keep the other side on their toes, trying to figure out what we're going to do. So that's kind of the goal, is just keep that scrappiness up defensively and then keep working that ball faster when we're on the offensive side.
Yeah, and we're also talking off air. Could be a possibility you guys get in the gym at the end of the year.
We're hoping.
I know some things got to break the right way.
That's right, and it's a lot of it's. We have no control over a lot of that stuff, and at this point we're at the mercy of just when they tell us we can get in there, we can get in there. But we're hoping we get in there at some point. If we do, we do. We don't, we don't. We were talking, playing in a new gym would be great, especially if we could host region and have a bigger crowd in there. But there's nothing like playing in the barn.
Right.
So if it's a win-win for us. The way I say is if we're able to host region, we've got two good venues that we can do that.
And you think about it this way: if you don't get in the new gym, you guys will be the ones that do officially close out the ball.
That is true. That's got to be a pretty special thought. It is. We already talked about that because last year at the end of basketball, it was last game in the barn, and everybody thought we were going to be done with the barn and we were going to be in this new gym, and now we're not. And somebody said the other day something about, well, we need to do that again for you guys. I was like, well, but yeah, I mean, in the barn, the barn will always be there, and we're still going to use the barn as much as we can. And like I said, there's nothing like playing in the barn, but we're really excited for the new gym and everything that's going to be with it, and just what a blessing it's going to be for Loretto in general, not just Loretto High School or xSports, but just in general.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of the new gym.
The pictures don't do it justice.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
And I will say that even from the beginning, I was a little skeptical just about, it's great, we're getting a new gym, that's awesome. But you always want, well, no, we could have done this, we could have done this. And the minute I stepped foot in there, I was like, I eat my words. This is awesome.
Yeah. That is awesome. Well, anyway, we'll be there. We'll be happy to cover everything. Excited for what the rest of the season has in store for you, and enjoy the break because you're going to be sprinting all the way to the end of October.
That's right, and it'll be here and gone before it's over with.
Yeah. Well, Nick, thank you for joining us here tonight. And coming up next, we'll have the voice of the UNA Lions, Ben Ray, will be joining us here on xSports Live from Hinie's BBQ.
Lawrenceburg Flooring and More is your premier source for hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl tile, sheet vinyl, residential and commercial carpet, carpet tiles, ceramic and porcelain tile, waterproof floating floor, plus blinds and shutters. Lawrenceburg Flooring and More is also home to all name brands and can tackle projects big and small. Installation? You're covered with installers who've got years of experience and stand behind their work. Let Lawrenceburg Flooring and More make your design dreams a reality. 2760 Highway 43 North, or visit lawrenceburgflooringandmore.com.
Whether you're looking to spruce up the interior or exterior of your home or business, trust Lawrenceburg Glass to provide a one-of-a-kind product. From windows to mirrors, shower doors, custom framing, storefront installations, and everything in between, Lawrenceburg Glass takes pride in our quality craftsmanship and strong attention to detail. With us, your customer experience always exceeds expectations. We're reliable, on time, and we deliver stunning results. Lawrenceburg Glass. Our passion is reflected in our work.
What really matters during the ball game, so the call didn't go your way. Now what are you going to do? How are you going to respond? Right after Paul said, rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice in Philippians 4 and verse 4, he said in verse 5, let your reasonableness be known to everyone. Other translations say gentleness. Other translations say big-heartedness. The idea is do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Respond in a way you would want others to respond to you. And that message brought to you by your friends at the Leoma Church of Christ.
Great food is just a short drive to Hinie's BBQ in Lawrenceburg. Mouth-watering is just one way to describe the amazing flavors of the best piece of Hinie in town. When you dig into a plate of pulled pork, hand-chopped brisket, chicken, wood-fire oven pizzas, and the menu goes on. Wash it all down with a swig of Hinie Shine lemonade and then make your way over to the gift shop full of Hinie sauces, snacks, and more. Hinie's BBQ, Highway 43 North in Lawrenceburg.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the xSports Network.
And back here for xSports Live, brought to you by Hinie's BBQ. Joined on the phone here by the voice of the North Alabama Lions and Ben Ray. And Ben, you might be one, other than us, and you might be one of the busiest people literally in this entire area. You're at a game or some sort of sports function every night. What's this kind of first couple weeks or first month or so of the fall season been like for you?
You know, it's the most wonderful time of the year. We're bouncing back and forth from football practice starting late July this year. I think it was like July 28th when we started football practice, and all the fall sports got going. And we've had some soccer matches. We start volleyball up next week. It's what we sign up for. It's what we train to do, you know. You get kind of restless sometimes during the summer. I love it. I wouldn't want to do anything else. Saturday, I called the UNH Chattanooga game, which was a thrill. Then the very next day, we had a soccer match over at the Bill Jones Athletic Complex, a 2-0 shutout win over Arkansas Pine Bluff. You know, it's been a tough go the last couple of years with some of our sports, and it was a pretty big weekend getting to be a part of some fun wins. So we're blessed to get to do what we do, AJ, and this past weekend was one of those memorable ones.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned soccer. Got a big game coming up tomorrow night as Southern Illinois comes into town. No, it wasn't the start Chris Walker and company were looking for off the get-go, but last week, you know, they didn't give up a goal. They get that win there against Alcorn State and get a couple ASUN players of the week. So Chris and them got to be feeling pretty good going into tomorrow night.
He likes where this team is at, and it's a team that featured 18 newcomers heading into this season. And he lost 3 pretty big pieces to last year's defense that set a school record for shutouts. And when you know it, the 2 newcomers on defense, Brianna Eads, the lead defender, and Adriana Wright, the goalkeeper, they get named Atlantic Sun Players of the Week for their efforts. And 3 straight shutouts from this defensive unit. And really, it's 3.5 games, I guess, of shutouts. They gave up a first half goal to Chattanooga. The Mocs didn't get a second half goal, so they're very close to setting a new Division I record for shutouts, and that's pretty impressive when you notice all the newcomers. And Coach Walker has pointed to his depth all season, and the starting lineup has changed a lot. You look one game, you see some familiar names. The next game, you don't know some of the names in the lineup, and I think the biggest thing is you saw the transfer portal work to his advantage so far this season, that he was able to get older. And that's one of the advantages of the transfer portal is you can bring in veterans. So he brought in a couple of fifth-year players, a couple of Division II players that played at great programs, and it's had immediate impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And volleyball is in action. They're heading to our nation's capital. They're at 3-3 right now, and got a good win there against Alabama State earlier this week, and hitting the road again. And they've been the road warriors here the first 3 weeks of the season.
They're ready to get home next week. It's going to be a busy weekend next week. Tuesday they're at home, then a tournament that weekend. But they've played some good competition. It started with a strong exhibition against Alabama. They go up to Arkansas State and really should have gone 3-0 in that tournament. They had every opportunity in the world to beat Arkansas State. That's a Sun Belt team.
Right.
You know, that's a conference that's a step up from us. Then, not disappointing, but you were hoping for better results down in Birmingham last weekend against Samford. But again, none of those were blowouts. You were right there, tooth and nail, fighting to the end. So Coach Tristan Johnson has just done an unbelievable job with this year's squad. And again, he's got a couple of fifth-year players that took advantage of the BBQ. He hit the portal hard, and he's had a freshman of the week in the Atlantic Sun as well, which kind of shows you the caliber student athletes that he's bringing in. He told me a good story just the other day. I said, man, how are things going? He said, you know, it's tough. I don't like our record, but our girls are playing so hard, and I like where we're at. He said, in fact, Alabama's coach, Stanford's coach, another coaching friend of mine, they've all kind of sent me various messages saying, hey, you told us you didn't think you were going to be very good, and your team's the most improved team we've seen in the last 2 years since you took over. Were you sandbagging us? And he kind of joked, you know, I wasn't sandbagging you, but I like where we're at. And he's just done a phenomenal job. AJ, we're a Division II power in volleyball, and the last 5 years have been tough. And our fan base, this area, they love volleyball. It's great to see us kind of get that competitive fire back under Coach Thompson.
Yeah, and you guys also do have an event going on at home this weekend, cross country. is going to get a chance here to host a home event, and it's one of their annual things they do every year, and going to bring a lot of people into the Shoals area.
It will, and they had a really strong run last week up in Memphis, the Memphis Twilight Race. It's actually pretty cool. Cross country, you run early in the morning. Our race, I think, starts at 7:45 this Saturday morning at McFarland Park. Well, that Memphis race, they ran at 9:45 p.m. That's when the women's race started, and the men raced after that. So cross country is an early morning sport, and they got to get going late at night. So it was a pretty cool experience. The women, I think, finished 10th out of 20. They had a strong showing. The men finished 6th place, AJ, and what's really cool about that is Alabama won the event. Some other big powers were up there, but we finished ahead of Ole Miss. And that's an SEC program that we went and beat up there. And we've had a lot of luck against Ole Miss. Our baseball team beat Ole Miss a few years ago. Basketball beat Ole Miss last year. Everybody remembers that. Golf has finished higher than them in a couple of tournaments. The obvious joke is kind of Ole Miss isn't going to want anything to do with North Alabama if we keep beating them at everything we show up at.
Hey, that's certainly a good mark. Now moving ahead to football, and you mentioned it earlier. What an evening we had Saturday. Obviously, you're on the call for that game. I was there in person. The first win, the Brent Dearman era, and they picked a really good opponent to do that against. You know, some people had Chattanooga as kind of that, you know, that trio of favorites to win the Southern Conference. We all know how good the SoCon is, and they come in there to Florence, and you know the Lions jump out on them. Then the Mocs make the comeback. Then the Lions finish strong. It was a very entertaining, stressful. Every emotion you can think of in that game happened on Saturday.
It's been the office debate, and I truly think, AJ, this has been our best win at the Division I level.
Absolutely.
The only one that kind of compares to me was 2018 was our first year of Division I. We went out to Cedar City, Utah, and we beat Southern Utah in our first ever Division I football game. And that was big because they were the defending conference champs in the Big Sky. And it was just a cool moment. Our football is such a pride tradition at UNA, and we go and we win that first game. Well, it's been a tough 5 years. I mean, there's no secret about it. We have been so stinking close to beating teams. We were up 17-16 against Montana. That would have been a big win. We've been so close, but we just hadn't gotten that signature win for football. And Chattanooga, it's a program we have a lot of respect for. And not just for football and the athletic department knocking off Chattanooga, one of the top SoCon teams, as you just mentioned, but I think from a university perspective, as UNA has kind of transformed from small Division II school to all of a sudden record enrollment, fastest growing university in the state of Alabama, largest growth the last 5 years in the state, I think it is. We're going to have an attendance or an enrollment of 10,600 this year. I mean, we're approaching 11,000, and for UNA to make some national news, knocking off Chattanooga, everybody knows about Chattanooga, right? And that's kind of what we talked about with this Division I move. Was it wasn't just about UNA going to Division I. It was about Florence and the Shoals area going to Division I. And all of a sudden, hey, where's North Alabama at? Oh, it's in Florence. Oh, well, what's Florence close to? Oh, it's close to Nashville, Lawrenceburg. It's close to Huntsville, Tupelo. It's on the Tennessee River. So I feel like last Saturday in Brawley was just something that we've all been waiting on, and it finally came to fruition. And we still got a long way to go, but we really like what we saw out of Brent Dearman's team last week.
Absolutely. Offense broke out. I know they in that game against Mercer, it was a bit of a struggle, but man, they came out on fire, scoring 21 straight points. You know, the middle was a little rocky, but they ended it's almost like they just flipped the switch at the start, flipped the switch at the end, and over 500 yards total offense. And, you know, obviously what TK was able to do, what Noah was able to do, the running game got involved. I mean, it's a pretty impressive performance offensively from the Lions.
It was incredible, and it started with the return of Takari Kennebrew, one of our best wide receivers. And TK's first 3 catches of the year went for touchdowns, and I was thinking, man, what if we'd had TK against Mercer? What would have happened? But Takari Kennebrew picked up a lot of national honors, as he should have. He was named United Athletic Conference Player of the Week, first player to ever win that in this new conference. Pro Football Focus named him to their college football team of the week. He was the only FCS player on that week. on that list. He had a social media highlight video that got nearly 25,000 views, AJ. It was crazy. I mean,
Wow.
he put on a show.
Yeah.
And TK provided a spark. And you look, quarterback Noah Walters, he was a little rusty against Mercer. Chattanooga's defense was better than Mercer, and he goes and he throws 4 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
We couldn't run the ball against Mercer. And you look, Jalen Daniels comes out of nowhere. He rushes for nearly 150 yards, 2 scores. He had the ceiling touchdown run of 81 yards. And DeMarcus Lacey very quietly had 100 yards of total offense, running the football and catching the football. And you think, man, that's 3 great performances. And, Zakari Kennebrew caught 3 touchdown passes. So defense got stops when we needed. And you feel like anytime you hold a team to under 30 points, you got a shot at winning.
Yeah.
Weird game. We scored the first 21. They scored the next 27. We scored the final 20 or whatever it was at the end of the ball game. So it was a fun shootout. I'm just glad we got that W.
Speaking of the defense, they got off to a great start, and obviously the 27 straight points, but they finished big. They got some big stops when they needed to. I know the offense was a bit of a question mark, but you had some good players in Noah and TK, but the defense was a big question mark. But all those new faces and some of the familiar ones were making some huge plays out there on Saturday.
They were 9 of our top 11 tacklers on the season, AJ, are players that transferred in. And that was kind of the point of emphasis.
Yeah.
Mike Ezekiel, our new SID, he kind of tossed the stat out to me. Noah Walters last season as a true freshman had 4 fourth-quarter drives that either tied or gave UNA the lead. And we didn't win any of those ball games last year. Yeah. So, there's the offense getting us the lead, getting us back in the game, and then usually the defense gave it right back.
Right.
Well, this was Noah's first career fourth-quarter comeback completion, and it's because the defense got stops this year. Elijah Elmore is a defensive lineman. Quietest guy you'll ever talk to. Hey, Elijah, what's up, man? Hey, you doing good? I'm good. Great young man. He had a big pass breakup. Rush Lansdale's a transfer from Memphis, diving attempt on 3rd down, made a just crazy, freakish athletic play, nearly got the interception.
Yeah.
Your top 2 tacklers, you had your top 3 tacklers all had 10 or more tackles. Evan White Schultz, Gregory Reddick, and Amari Floyd, and they're all newcomers. They all transferred in. So many guys made plays, and there was a little bit of bend, but there was no break from that UNA defense. And at the end of the night, doesn't matter the score, you got to have the lead, right? When that clock hits 0, you got to get the stops when it matters. Who cares what they did in the first, second, and third quarters? But when you stop them in the fourth quarter, good things usually happen.
Absolutely. And now, speaking of the defense and the offense, they're going to take on Tarleton State. A very long road trip for you guys coming up here on Saturday, heading down to the state of Texas, and a team that put up 51 points in week number 1. And I know you guys are familiar. I haven't played them a year ago, but this seems like maybe a better version of what they were a year ago.
And they're transitioning from D2 to Division I, and they've got a good stat. They've got the 4th or 5th best record all time of any school transitioning from Division II to Division I.
Yeah.
So they're still not eligible for the postseason, but they've done a great job over there. And you look at their roster, and they've got a lot of the same guys back from last year. Both of the wide receivers who put on shows are back from last year. The running back that rushed for 160 yards, he's back. And he's actually their number 2 running back. They've got 2 great running backs. They had a guy transfer in. He's a former SWAC Freshman of the Year from Arkansas Pine Bluff, and he rushed for 100-something yards against McNeese last week. And McNeese is a pretty good program. And anytime a school hangs 52 points, that's eye-popping. And that offense is the real deal. And it's going to be a real test. And it's the first ever United Athletic Conference football game. We've got a little bit of an advantage in the fact that we've played 2 games and they've only played 1. But they didn't have a lot of rust in that first game, although I'm sure their coaches probably think differently, right?
Right.
So it's going to be a dogfight. And then throw in the fact that you've got to travel from Florence, Alabama to Stevensville, Texas. And we'll fly into the airport there in Stevensville. We're going to stay in Fort Worth, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. Drive over on game day. So the team will be rested up, and it's going to be hot. We've played 1 heat game down in Montgomery. It's going to be a dry Texas heat. 101, I think, is what they're calling for right now. So who's going to handle the heat? Who's going to handle that adversity? It's a 6 o'clock kick, so hopefully it won't be too bad. But, you know, after the way we played against Chattanooga, AJ, I am fired up to see what we do in game number 3 against a very talented Tarleton State team.
Yeah, I'm very pumped to see that too. Last Saturday got me really excited. And one more thing before we let you go here, Ben, got some ASUN UAC news kind of coming out. A school that UNA is very familiar with, West Georgia. It looks like they might be joining the league. Who knows? But anyways, that's a good sign for the ASUN that, you know, teams are wanting to come in. That's a good sign for the UAC that teams are wanting to come in. And you guys are a part of a emerging, budding league here that a lot of people want to be a part of.
You know, we had an opportunity to sit down about a week or so ago with the new commissioner of the ASUN, Jeff Bacon. And AJ, I loved hearing his vision. I loved hearing his plans for the league. And he didn't tell us anything top secret. You know, the number one question commissioners get today is membership. Are you looking? Are you worried about leaving? And the answer is always yes. And he kind of told us, he said, look, we're not going to add people just for the sake of adding. You know, we feel good with the number we got. There's not a number that we want to strive for. We just want schools from good markets with universities that fit our profile and something that will elevate the league and get us into bigger markets. And, you know, I hope it happens for West Georgia. You know, I've seen the reports like everybody. For us, UNA, we had a pretty good rivalry going with West Georgia before we moved up to Division I, and you'd love to see that kind of get rekindled or relit, right? And that's a tough 4-year transition. We've got some friends over there, and I think it'd be great. I mean, AJ, you're familiar with this area, this territory. I mean, you can draw a 4-hour radius around North Alabama. And I'm not any authority figure. I'm not out there asking people to join. But to me, there's a lot of schools in this region that should all be in the same conference.
Absolutely.
And I hope more than anything, and again, I'm not saying this with any authority, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but UNA and Chattanooga, we need to play every year. Tennessee Tech, UT Martin, Austin Peay, even into Kentucky, all of us, we all need to be together. And who knows what's going to happen. You know, it's easier said than done when you start getting into the legality of conference realignment. But if the school joins Friday, that's great. And who knows what will happen at the end of this year, this summer, next year. It's the ever-changing world of conference realignment. It's like the transfer portal.
There's always someone going in and someone coming out.
That's right.
Well, Ben, we appreciate you joining us here, and we are fired up for Saturday and obviously for tomorrow night for the women's soccer team as well.
AJ, I appreciate you having me on, and man, thank you for all your great coverage and being at all of our events, man. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate you coming on here tonight. All right, that was Ben Ray, the voice of the UNA Lions. Coming up next, Dusty and I are going to talk about our recap from Week 1 of the college football season, and head into Week 2. We have a huge slate of big games that's coming up next here on xSports Live from Hinie's BBQ.
What really matters during the ball game, so the call didn't go your way. Now what are you going to do? How are you going to respond? Right after Paul said, rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice in Philippians 4 and verse 4, he said in verse 5, let your reasonableness be known to everyone. Other translations say gentleness. Other translations say big-heartedness. The idea is do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Respond in a way you would want others to respond to you. And that message brought to you by your friends at the Leoma Church of Christ.
Fall on the Hill returns to Minor Hill October 7th from 2 to 8 with live music all day, vendors, hay rides, a petting zoo, pony wagon rides, a pop-up paint party, face painting, putt-putt golf, a jams and jellies contest, inflatables, and much more. Plus, don't miss the fireworks show at 8 p.m. Fall on the Hill 2023, brought to you by Minor Hill Alliance and Liquor World. Enjoy a day full of awesome music from Brace Killen, Damon Schrader, Josh Reisner, and Salem Rats. Armbands are $5. Don't miss Fall on the Hill, October 7th from 2 to 8 at 165 Ray Branch Road in Minor Hill, Tennessee.
Are you looking for a non-factory job environment? Livingstone Freight Solutions is a 3PL company that began managing warehouses in Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. With our multiple shifts and experienced management team, our goal is to give you as an employee a safe family work environment and competitive wages. We offer a wide variety of employment opportunities from forklift drivers to management level positions. We also strive to offer a competitive benefit package and PTO options. For more information or to apply, visit us at livingstonefs.com or give us a call at 931-269-3255.
Great food is just a short drive to Heinie's BBQ in Lawrenceburg. Mouth-watering is just one way to describe the amazing flavors of the best piece of Hinie in town. When you dig into a plate of pulled pork, hand-chopped brisket, chicken, wood-fire oven pizzas, and the menu goes on. Wash it all down with a swig of Hinie Shine lemonade and then make your way over to the gift shop full of Hinie sauces, snacks, and more. Heinie's BBQ, Highway 43 North in Lawrenceburg.
You're gonna see me shine, 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 walking on beams of light, 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 light.
Being raised in Tennessee, we believe in the importance of family and community. Creating a positive experience at our family-owned and operated business is one of the ways we share that belief.
Being in an accident can be extremely stressful. When it came time for my repairs, Mashburn's made it easy.
I am lucky to have a wonderful company in my community like Mashburn's Collision Center. It's reassuring to know that I'm in good hands because their work is second to none.
We pride ourselves that the Mashburn name is one of the most trusted in Lawrence County since 1981. Mashburn's Collision Center. Let our family take care of yours.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the xSports Network.
Welcome back here to xSports Live, brought to you by Heinie's BBQ. Joined here by Dusty Kaiser. Clint not with us tonight. He had emergency liposuction surgery. So
yeah, I seen that.
Yeah,
he bless his heart.
Yeah, they pulled 3 teeth out of his
and put
stomach.
implants.
So,
yeah, and put an implant in his stomach or something.
Yeah, something like that. You know, they could, to make them look bigger or smaller. You know.
Yeah, it's kind of up and down.
Yeah,
yeah. We're thinking about you, Clint.
Yeah, while we're eating, but now moving ahead here, week 1 of the college football season wasn't uneventful by any shape of the imagination, but I think we got just start off right off the get-go, Dion. I mean, I thought that would be close. I didn't see that playing out the way that it played out.
I'm going to agree with that. I think that is a very good statement, but I think there's a but. And maybe you'll agree, you may disagree. I think way too many people are jumping on this wagon too early.
Absolutely. I'm 100% with you on that one.
I don't want to take anyway from their win and what the player's done, how he coached the game is phenomenal, but they may need to just tap it just a smidge because they could lose this weekend.
You know what that game reminds me of? Mike Leach's first game in Mississippi State during COVID, and they beat the defending national champions and did it in dominating fashion. Now this one was more of a back and forth style game, but it's definitely given me a lot of those same vibes.
And we've talked, I know me and you've had this conversation, TCU, really?
Yeah,
I mean, I understand they were there last year. I don't think they should have been there. I know they won their game, they got there, but
they're so hot, just like a lot of teams in the Big 12. Do you really know what you're going to get out of Baylor, who lost to Texas State? Kansas State's pretty consistent, but Texas Tech lost to Wyoming. Yeah. They were my dark horse to win the league. They can still do that, but who knows what you're getting out of that league?
Yeah, okay, so what if TCU loses 6 games or 7 games? Then what does this Colorado loss look like?
Well, what if they go and play Nebraska? Nebraska, who had a lead the entire time against Minnesota before they fell apart. So they're good defensively, and they've got an offense with a true freshman quarterback that threw a lot of interceptions, but they moved the ball.
I was impressed, but I think people need to maybe tap the brake just a smidge on Colorado.
Yeah. I'm 100% with you. And then obviously Monday night in the group chat, we had a lot of conversations about, and Tom Luganbill said it and it's 100% right. Here's 2 stats about the Clemson-Duke game. Tom Lukenbill said there's no difference in speed between the 2 teams, which is unfathomable to think of when you know that Clemson has over 54 5-stars on their team. How many does Duke have?
I'm going to say less than 7.
2. And they beat them by 3 touchdowns. Now, Clemson got 7 points on 4 trips inside the 5-yard line, 2 fumbles and a blocked field goal, but still, that's 17 points. They still would have lost if.
Well, sure, they would have lost. And I had a conversation with a buddy of mine on the phone about this. So was Dabo out-coached?
I think he's been out-coached since the transfer portal on NIL's been a thing. I think that's a point a lot of people are making because he hasn't embraced any of them.
That went back to my statement about him to my buddy, and I was like, well, everybody's jumping up and down and like, that's going to be the next Alabama coach. I don't want him. Yeah. He's won, but he's had two generational quarterbacks.
Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence.
And Sunshine.
And think about those receivers. You think about that defensive line.
Trevor Etienne.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, we didn't even talk about his offensive line or his defense.
Or the linebackers.
Exactly. But yes, I don't know. Dabo, it's in our group chat. I think Dabo, he could lose a couple more games this year, and you just know how the schools get, the fan bases get.
Yeah.
Do I think he gets fired? No. But he could be on the hot seat.
He needs to start making. If they lose 4 games,
he needs to start.
I mean that someone's cranking up that fire, and it's a deep fire that can go up to 700 degrees.
Yes, really quick.
They're going to light his rear end on fire. Other games, I did not see South Carolina UNC playing out the way that it did. We both picked South Carolina, and Spencer Rattler wasn't really the problem. I mean, his numbers were good, but he got sacked 9 times.
Yeah, what happened to the offensive line?
There was no offensive line.
Was he out there just him in the center?
Yeah. That's kind of what it was like. 7 against 11 is what it felt like.
And I would think at that point, if I'm Rattler, I'm going in that huddle or I'm going back to the sideline, and we're just going to have us a little meeting of the minds right there. No coaches.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys.
Because they were in that game. Defense was holding it together.
Yeah, we were holding it together, but
Drake, you can't let Drake May go out there and have as many plays as they eventually had.
How many plays end up having?
Like 90-ish.
Yeah,
they play up tempo too.
It's
crazy. Another big one, and I thought this was going to be closer. I think we all did, but man, Florida State in the second half looked like a team on a mission. And I said in our group chat, I don't think the SEC needs to be worried about Oklahoma and Texas coming next year. I think they need to be worried about when eventually Florida State does come.
Because they got something.
Oh, man. I love Mike Norvell. I knew he was building something special there, but that team,
he's a good coach. And what I realized was the leadership that they brought on the field. And I'm not a big Brian Kelly fan anyways. I don't think he has control. I think those guys play a little loose.
Well, he lies.
He does lie. That's a fact. He does lie.
He's been caught in that a few times.
But, hey, hats off to Florida State, man. That was a tail kicking.
Absolutely. Well, moving ahead now, Dusty. So I went 9-3 last week. You went 8-4. The difference, we picked every game the same except for Washington and Boise, and I think Washington took care of business. But this is a slate of games. That's how many potentially good ones.
Oh, man, Saturday's
crazy.
Saturday's lining up to be really good.
So the first one I have, it's actually a Friday night game, and it's an interesting game because it's between 2 old rivals and 2 teams that could come out of nowhere. It's Kansas and Illinois. It's 2 teams that kind of came out of nowhere last year. 2 up-and-coming programs. It's at Kansas. That could be really. I mean, is it going to impact the national landscape of college football? No. But these could be 2 teams that could be a thorn in somebody's side down the road.
Oh, especially Illinois.
Yeah.
Because they were a thorn last year. They were starting to be that thorn.
Right.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's going to be a great game.
Who do you got?
I'm taking Illinois.
Take Illinois?
I'm taking Illinois.
Okay, I've got Kansas. So
Kansas favored by 3.
Yeah, it's I like they got that offense back. I love Lance Leopold mainly because I have a soft spot for former D3 coaches that come up through the ranks, and he's that dude. I can't believe someone hasn't snatched him up because he's a real deal.
He'll get there. I think he'll get there.
He knows how to build a program. Okay, kind of under the radar. Again, not nationally going to be a big deal, but Vanderbilt at Wake Forest. Wake is really down. Vandy's kind of climbing up here.
You know how I feel, and I'm not going to backtrack any. I'm taking Wake Forest.
You want to take Wake? I took Vandy. I think Wake's just down too much. I think
you're probably right, but I've said it live, so I can't back up that I think Vanderbilt should be out of the SEC, and they're not a football school, and I just
go to
down the list. So yeah,
saying them playing the same league as Tennessee State in the OVC.
Yeah.
All right, here's a big one. I didn't know this was on the schedule till looking up. Notre Dame and NC State. That's got more implications than what most people realize.
When I seen that, I was like, that game could mean a lot more than what people think it could.
Yeah.
I'm taking NC State.
Okay. Well, I've got Notre Dame because I think NC State is...
And they're down their number 1 DB.
Yeah, and they're kind of sputtering on offense. They went to UConn and did not look good.
No,
last
but
Thursday.
I'm just not a Notre Dame. Just always gets a pass.
No, last time Notre Dame was there, they played in the middle of a hurricane. I know because I was driving through it to go to Virginia Tech at North Carolina. I was listening to the radio. It was such an ugly game, and that kind of blew up their hopes.
Right.
I mean, that's not an easy place to play. NC State's going to be good defensively. My question for NC State is how good are they offensively? Devin Leary is now in Kentucky. They got some of those weapons who are either in the NFL or transfer somewhere else. I think they're just too down.
Could be right.
Yeah. All right, next one up. I kind of went in time order here. Nebraska at Colorado.
They got Colorado by 3. They got them favored by 3, but I've got Nebraska winning the football game.
Okay. Ooh, I've got Colorado. We are like literally apart on the first four. But I can see Nebraska winning. I think Vegas does too, because if Nebraska, the biggest question for Colorado is not their offense. We know how good their offense is. It's the defense I'm worried about because they gave up a lot of points. Nebraska, Matt Rule, they're going to try to play keep away because he's a really smart coach. And I think they're just such on this high. And Deion's saying he's got receipts. Well, he better not try to cash those in too quick this weekend.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think a lot of that is just – and I love Deion.
Yeah.
But, I think he might be the one to just touch the brake pedal just a smidge.
Just tap it a little bit. Another one that's fun. It's not going to mean anything down the line. It's fun, though. Purdue at Virginia Tech.
I looked at that today. I seen that, and I like Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I like Purdue. Just because I think Virginia Tech is just, they're finding their way defensively. Offensively is an absolute mess. And they proved that against Old Dominion. They didn't look great against Old Dominion.
Right.
And I think Purdue lost to a really good Fresno State team.
They did. But I think we got to I look at it as it's week 2 now.
Yeah.
We got the butterflies out of week 1.
Yeah.
Now, you still got a lot to grow on. But I think that we're going into week 2.
Yeah.
So we've had our game. Now we've had a week of practice or 4 days of practice. I'm pulling for you.
I think Lane Stadium is such a fun place. I miss that place. If you've never been to a game there, find a way to get there, especially when they're good. It's a great place. Here's one. We're 2 ranked teams. You got Ole Miss at Tulane.
I done picked, it's right on my notes, Tulane.
I've got Tulane as well. I think the Lane train goes into a hostile environment.
I think he goes, and I'm not saying they're just going to get taken to the woodshed. I think it's a really good game, but I don't think that they win.
No, I don't think they do. I think Tulane's pumped up. They're ready to go. I think the Lane train is a little too high after beating Mercer 73-7. Here comes Tulane.
And they got them 7.5.
They got Ole Miss 7.5 or Tulane?
Ole Miss is minus 7.5.
Oh, you think that isn't posted all over that locker room right now?
Oh, that is Tulane's just drinking that.
I mean, They handled Caleb Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner, in a bowl game.
Yes.
I mean, Lane can't make up his mind who was quarterback.
No, he don't have a clue.
No. So
he may be throwing golf balls at somebody for all we know.
Mustard balls.
Or mustard balls,
Yeah.
whatever.
Here's another one. I think the first start of the 3:30 games, I really struggled trying to pick a team here, and I'm like 50 and a half to 49 and a half. Texas A&M and Miami.
I got Miami. It's on my list right here. I thought that's going to be a game. Not a fan of Jimbo. I just don't think he's always getting a pass.
Yeah.
And I know he's liable to beat us again by some crazy miracle. It seems like he always has our number.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got Miami. Miami looked good.
I took A&M. I think with Petrino calling the plays, I think their offense looked pretty good. I know they weren't playing they were playing an inferior opponent, but just something seemed different about them. And Miami is you just never know what you're going to get out of that team.
You're right. And maybe it's just my mind because I think about Florida State.
Yeah.
And then, so they're starting up the hill now again.
Yeah.
And Miami's got to get somewhere. They got to start back up that hill too.
Right.
And I don't know.
Yeah. Cristobal's good, and he'll eventually build that program, but I just don't think they have the tools on offense.
And they may not. But we'll see, I guess.
Facing an SEC defense. And again, another one, just fun, no major long term, but Cincinnati at Pitt, reuniting the Big East rivals here. Good offense against a good defense in Pittsburgh.
I have to go with Pitt.
Okay, I got Pitt. As much as I want to throw up, I got
but
got Pitt on that one.
I have a hard time, and I know Cincinnati the past couple of years has had a really good defense.
Yeah.
Or with their corners anyways, but I don't know. I just feel like going on the road to Pitt, they're just going to struggle.
Before you got to face everyone in the Big 12 now.
Yes.
So UCF at Boise, that's a fun one.
That is a fun one. I said when I looked at it earlier, I think UCF.
I've got UCF as well. I think Boise is everyone's giving Boise the Clemson treatment. They remember what Boise used to be.
What they used to be.
And UCF looked good in week 1.
They did.
Boise did not.
No.
And I think Boise might be still a little down, even though it's their home opener after getting thumped there at Washington. But I think Boise's getting that Clemson treatment.
You could be right there. I've never thought about that, but they could be.
They still think Kellen Moore's a quarterback, and that's just not the case anymore.
Exactly.
Boise. So another, as we start to head more into the evening, Wisconsin and Washington State.
I looked at it and I thought, I don't know. Man, I like Wisconsin.
I do too. I love Luke Fickell. I'm a huge Luke Fickell fan. Washington State, you don't know what you're going to get. I mean, no one really knows what you're going to get out of that bunch.
You don't.
Wisconsin's kind of used to playing in those smaller-ish environments in the Big Ten West. I don't think they'll be intimidated by Pullman.
I mean, they're -6. Wisconsin is too.
I like what they're doing. They got rid of Graham Mertz. Good luck with that one, Florida.
Yeah.
So they got rid of that guy.
They're bad.
Here's another fun one: Arizona and Mississippi State.
When I was looking at the SEC schedule today, I seen that, and I got to thinking, Mississippi State. They had with Leach and all that. Like, I got to take them.
Me too.
I have to take them.
I'm 100% with you on that one. I took Mississippi State as well. Plus, Arizona hasn't been great at all. They've gotten better. Jed Fisher's done a really good job there because that program was a hot mess after Kevin Sumlin left. Rich Rodriguez didn't leave it in great shape. Kevin Sumlin made it worse.
And they got them favored by 9.
Mississippi State?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the over on that one.
Yeah, I don't know what's the over and under. I bet the over and under is probably 65.
Yeah, they're running into the cowbell territory. That's going to be
60 and a half is the over and under.
Okay. I might take the under on that one, though. Anyways, Auburn making the trip out west. They're going to go play Cal.
Dude, I just can't do Hugh Freeze or Auburn. I'm taking Cal.
Taking Cal. Cal's offense, they got off to a rough start in North Texas, and all of a sudden, boom, whatever they had. I mean, North Texas is North Texas, but still, they went on the road, looked awful for the first 20 minutes, and all of a sudden, look like Pac-12 favorites at one point.
Off subject, when you say North Texas, I think about a movie, Necessary Roughness.
Yeah.
North Texas Armadillos.
Stone Cold.
That's it.
Stone Cold played in North Texas.
He sure did.
So Oklahoma State at Arizona State. Oklahoma State is a dark horse Big 12 favorite because it's every other year, and this is the every other year for Mike Gundy. But Arizona State, a new coach. Their first game was weird. It took them like 7 hours to play it. Like they finished at 3 o'clock in the morning Central Time because of all the rain delays and weather delays. New coach, same talent. Herm Edwards brought in good talent, but
I'm taking Oklahoma State.
I am too. I think it's a good year for them. Texas Tech at Oregon.
I like Oregon.
I do too. I think Texas Tech got really exposed last week at Wyoming. Now they got to go back to the Northwest.
And that's a tough place to go play.
I mean, how many SEC schools have gone up there and fallen on their face?
A bunch of them.
Tennessee included.
Yes, Auburn went up there and fell. I mean, that's a tough place.
Yeah, Oklahoma's lost there.
Yes.
It's not an easy place to go. All right, some under the radar ones. App State at UNC. App State's gone there before and won.
Yeah, but
it's a different set of circumstances.
It's a different set of circumstances. I like UNC.
Yeah, me too. UCLA at San Diego State. San Diego State gets up for those Pac-12
They
teams.
do get up for them games, but I'm going to take UCLA.
Just because of tradition, I'm taking San Diego State. I think they do enough. Now here's one. You got a potential Big 12 favorite, Kansas State hosting the Sun Belt favorite in Troy. Now remember last year, K-State lost to Tulane at home.
They did. That was part of that run we were just talking about with Tulane.
Yeah.
Gosh. I guess give me K-State.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can't pick them to win the Big 12 and have them lose to Troy. I just can't do that. But all right, now moving on to the big one here. The one everyone's going to be watching. You got the Horns facing the Tide.
All right. So
you can come on.
I don't want people to go back and look like 4 shows back where we've talked and
go all Brian Kelly on you.
Go all Brian Kelly on me. And I know we played MTSU Saturday, and I know there's people playing. My phone was probably fixing to just get blowed to pieces.
Thank you, man.
What'd you say?
There we go.
Oh boy. But anyways,
he's got the Tide shorts on and everything, pants on and everything.
I was really impressed with how Melrose kept his composure.
Right.
How he, if you want to call him the field general, however you want to look at him, if he just managed the game.
Right.
And we know that Saban is a stickler and a quarterback that just manages the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that our two-headed monster with Williams and McClellan is going to be there. Williams looks like a little bulldog, man. He's got guns.
Yeah.
Like he's like Derrick Henry, not tall-wise, but he's jacked.
Yeah.
I think we handle business Saturday.
I'm 100% with you. Mainly because I think it's gonna. The battle isn't going to be Bama's offense against Texas's defense. I think the battle is going to be Bama's defense against Texas's offense because, I mean, if you watch any of the Rice game of Texas, Rice's defensive line had their way at times against Texas.
They did.
Rice. Not exactly a football powerhouse at any time other than, what, the 1920s?
Exactly.
I
just think that this is kind of like a redemption year.
Okay.
For us against Texas. And I'll be the first to say we're beat last year if Edwards don't go out. We're beat. A 20-19 win, I'll take it.
Yeah.
The win's a win. Now, do I think Texas is just going to come into Tuscaloosa and lay down? No. Absolutely not.
No.
But I think Alabama punch them in the mouth early. Nick's got to prove something. We're not just going to, I'm anxious to see Melrose against this big defense.
Yeah.
I was trying to find when you were talking with the UNA guy. I can't remember his name. Dylan. Oh, I was trying to find. I seen a post and it was on Bleacher Report, and I can't find it now. And I no way of saying Melrose is this guy, but somebody had put in there, could we see the making of the next Jalen Hurts?
The offense has changed. It's not as air raid-ish.
It's not, and he's more of a run-first quarterback. You can tell he wants to run. But I think he can stand in there and make that throw if he needs to.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't excited I was excited, but I also told you we was going to lose 3 games. But I'm not saying we still won't. But I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, I am too. I kind of don't know what kind of game. I'm kind of tussling in my head. I think it's going to be a 1-score game.
It's 7 points is the spread right now.
And that's kind of where my mind is. I don't think, though, it will be a back and forth. I think Bama jumps ahead. Texas is having to fight back, and every time they get a little bit close, Bama knocks them back down. That's kind of where my mind is at.
But I did ask the question today to my buddy, so I'm going to ask you the same question. Say Alabama jumps up 21-0. Just listen to me. And Texas is struggling getting the ball down the field. Do we see Arch?
I think you might see the other guy. Because remember, they brought a 5-star.
Well, they did bring in the 5-star
out of California.
But my buddy swears up and down that he's a Tennessee guy and he's a Peyton Manning. You know, Peyton's the only quarterback to ever play football in any state.
Yeah.
He thinks we'll see Arch.
I think you'll see the other guy.
That's what I told him. But he thinks the money and that he's a Manning.
Yeah.
He will get to play
in Alabama.
I thought,
SEC
man, dude, would you really want to throw him into that?
No.
If it's getting out of hand.
Yeah. I'm with you. I don't think they should.
No. Do that. I thought that was a good question.
But if they have to bring in someone for Ewers and he's not playing good, that might implode him. Just because they've put a lot of their eggs in the Quinn Ewers basket.
You ain't kidding, they have. And I think Stark's one of them. Shark is one of them.
I think he's an overrated coach. And I can't wait for our group text message when Bama beats down Texas. Poor Michael Marks.
I'm waiting on the text right now from him. I really am.
We already got one from Hayden. Hayden's on you. It was in TSU.
What did I say?
You're talking about Bama and their performance against Tennessee, and he just said,
I said it up front.
I know.
Hey, we covered the spread by double, man. Come on.
That's all that matters at the end. West Virginia can
He's
cover the
also on the Penn State bandwagon, so there.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, James Franklin's about to get his after what he did at the end of the game against West Virginia.
Are you kidding me, man?
And he's been so smug about it. And this is my West Virginia bias coming out, but we were in that game. Defense is playing good. Our offense didn't come to play, which has kind of been the story of the Neil Brown era. But still, you're going no huddle, playing hurry up when the game's already in hand. That's going to come around the bite of
That'll bite you. And how many more? We've seen a lot of football programs that do that. Now, if you put your second and third string in, and they score, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, if it's like an 81-yard play. He did have his backups in, but still, they were going no huddle.
That's uncalled for.
Uncalled for. Yeah, he's going to get his, and I hope Michigan just stomps him by 50.
Oh, man, I hope Michigan just...
Can't wait for it. I'm excited for it. Well, coming up next here will be our final segment of the show. Me and Dusty are going to rant. We got some good ones coming up here for you next on xSports Live.
Great food is just a short drive to Hinie's BBQ in Lawrenceburg. Mouth-watering is just one way to describe the amazing flavors of the best piece of Hinie in town. When you dig into a plate of pulled pork, hand-chopped brisket, chicken, wood-fire oven pizzas, and the menu goes on. Wash it all down with a swig of Hinie Shine lemonade and then make your way over to the gift shop full of Hinie sauces, snacks, and more. Hinie's BBQ, Highway 43 North in Lawrenceburg.
McMaster's Home Gallery, where you'll always get a special price every day. Shop their new showroom full of name-brand furniture, sofas, recliners, dining and bedroom suites, Serta bedding, lots of tables and chairs just to match your decor. McMaster's Home Gallery also has GE appliances. Stop by on Highway 43 in Loretto or call 853-6140.
Old School Rentals in Loretto, Tennessee is headquarters for all your rental equipment needs. Need a trailer? How about saws, tools, loaders, or generators? You can find all of that and much, much more at Old School Rentals. Owner Ryan Smith, located on North Main Street in Loretto, Tennessee. Got primary care? Find your way to better health with primary care by One Stop Medical. With decades of combined experience, you'll find a one-on-one relationship just like the old days, but with the convenience and technology of today. When One Stop Medical does primary care, it's the best. Call today for an appointment and find your way to healthy living. Serving Lawrenceburg, Pulaski, and Hohenwald. Phone 931-244-8220. Primary care by One Stop Medical at its best.
From our humble beginnings to today, Parks Lumber Company has continuously served Lawrence and surrounding counties for over a century. Although we started as a small lumber yard in 1896, we have grown to include everything you need to make your dream project come to life. No matter your building needs, our experienced staff will be with you every step of the way to ensure you receive the highest customer service and attention to detail you deserve. Visit us at 106 2nd Street or on Facebook. We guarantee you will see working with PLC is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
There are now more ways to save at Quick Mart. Become a Quick Club member and easily earn rewards on qualifying purchases at Quick Mart convenience stores using the Quick Club app, available on the Apple App Store and Google Play. To save on fuel for work, use the Fuel Rewards Pro app to earn 5 cents a gallon on work fill-ups and redeem the savings for yourself. To get started, visit fuelrewards.com/pro or download the app in the Apple App Store and Google Play.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the xSports Network.
Back here to xSports Live, brought to you by Hinie's BBQ. It's our final segment here on the show. It's time for us to rant. Dusty, man, got a lot on your mind. What's on it?
I got two, buddy. First one's not going to be so in depth, but what are we doing with these TV channels just pissing people off because you can't watch football?
You talking about Spectrum?
What is?
I'm one of them. I'm extremely ticked off about that.
I don't understand. We spend all this money to watch, to buy their service,
right?
To watch TV, whether it be sports or whatever, and you can't watch anything.
I know. I had to watch some of those games by people illegally streaming them on YouTube.
I mean, how
Actually, I didn't do that.
You just heard about it.
I heard about it. Yeah.
Don't know who it was. But how difficult can it be? I mean, they're making billions of dollars.
I know.
And when you can't turn on the ABC right here in Tennessee, right here in our area, or you can't turn on the ESPN, that's terrible.
Yeah, you can only get games on CBS and Fox. So if they don't get this resolved, I'm giving them till Friday, or we're cutting everything and changing.
I'm telling you right now, and I'm just going to say it because we use them as YouTube for xSports.
Yeah.
I have YouTube TV, and I love it.
That's about to be us.
And
if Spectrum doesn't get their
we had Spectrum, we had Charter. Well, I do have their internet, cause you need to have their better internet to run it.
Right.
But it's $69 a month, and I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to some buddies of mine, and they're like, "Man, we can't even watch Tennessee game." I'm like, "They're playing in Nashville.
Yeah.
Whether you're a fan or not, you should be able to watch that with an antenna."
Right.
But my big rant, that sounds like a big one, but my big rant is a high school football player, was at Lipscomb Academy. His name is Deuce Knight.
Mm-hmm.
He was a transfer out of Mississippi, pretty sure it was. Well, yes, he is actually out of George County, Mississippi. This guy was brought in, of course, no telling what they paid to get him up here.
Right.
He's played 3 football games. He was only in the program 2 weeks, so he took somebody's starting position.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now he's got mad and went home. So, where have I missed something, AJ? that high school kids can dictate. He's a junior,
Right.
so he's 16, 17 years old. Are you kidding me? Do we blame it on IMG for making it like a college?
Or making it like a professional organization.
Right.
Because they ain't going to school. I hate to break that to you.
No, they're not going to school. So you can just get mad. I don't know what he's mad about. There
could be a myriad of things.
It could be. They said he wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I think they're 1-2, maybe something like that.
They're playing.
They
like
played
IMG.
They played IMG their first game at home. But come on, what are we teaching this one kid, Deuce? I mean, he was top 70 in quarterbacks in the country.
Yeah.
So he's going to go to. He was in Nashville. He was setting. He met Josh Heupel Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in the mix.
Right.
He's in Nissan Stadium for the game Saturday. What are we doing? What are we teaching these young athletes? That you can get mad, you can just pick your ball up and go home because you get. And like I said, how much money were we give? He's getting a free education. Mm-hmm. You know that Lipscomb's not cheap.
And they probably were paying for his travel, paying for his wherever he was staying.
Oh, they got his mom and dad a job.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was just gave to him. And now you're just going to up and leave?
Yeah.
So now you've destroyed this program.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I have a problem. I mean, I have an issue with the transfer portal and how it's run in college football, but now we're going to do it in high school?
Right. Yeah. I'm not a fan of it.
And so when's it going to be a basketball player?
No.
Or when's it going to be a baseball player?
Yeah.
You know, come on. At some point, you got to be, and I've had this conversation, there's no loyalty anymore.
Right.
And I think it's just right down stupid that these private schools, and I'm sure there's public schools that do it too, but they can just fork out the money and you get what you want.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening back in my home state. They have their own transfer portal, and there were some crazy scores last week.
Right.
Like a team, one of our rivals beat a team from Charleston in Capital, beat them 94-0. Now, when I was growing up, Capital was one of the best out there, but they're really down. South Charleston got spanked by somebody. They're really down. They got beat 84-0. And these are traditionally pretty good programs because they got good athletes, but now all of those good athletes are going to the other schools who are now dominating. And that was a government thing. That wasn't a... I'm not a fan.
We're missing something somewhere.
But you know where that never changes is at the pro level.
No.
Because you know who they call a football player that's played for 4 teams in 4 years? Unemployed.
Yeah.
This isn't, baseball's a different animal because you have relievers, closers, and players. You can have a guy that, plays for 7 teams in 10 years.
Right.
And sometimes they find a home, sometimes they're not, but because relievers are really valuable guys.
Exactly.
And they get traded a lot.
Yes.
That happens. But hockey, basketball, football, if you're playing for 5 teams in 6 years or playing for 4 teams in 4 years,
you're out.
You better hope you got your education because you're not going to be around long.
Nope.
So that never changes at the pro level. It's one of the many reasons I like pro sports. So my rant, actually speaking of a private school, this one came from a strength and conditioning coach at a school in Huntsville. He had rules for those for fans to use the word we. Either you have someone that goes to the school, you went to the school. He had like 4 rules. The only reason you can use we is like saying we need to do this as a team. We need to do that if you're a fan. I'm here to break it to you. I'm not an anti-we guy. And if you're a fan that wants to say we when it comes to the Braves, when it comes to the Vols, when it comes to the Cubs, whatever. If you want to say we, dude, just say we. Who cares? There are bigger things in life to worry about than listen to some strength and conditioning coach that got his degree online.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like strength and conditioning coaches at Christian private schools are like right-handers that throw 85 in pro baseball. They're a dime a dozen. They're really not that, it's the same bloke, backwards hat, got the beard, he probably comes up with the same sayings he's seen on TikTok that everybody else has.
Exactly.
Do you really want to listen to that guy? No. So I don't use we. Sometimes I catch myself. I think it's being 2 decades in media that's kind of taken the we out of it. I do say it from time to time, but there's no rules. Why are we safeguarding who can say what or who can say whatever? No one cares. If you want to say we when it involves with your team, good. That means you're invested. That means you're involved. That means you care enough.
Yes.
And if doggone it, if it ruins your weekend, that's a good thing because you care, you're invested, you're involved. You should be that with everything in life, to be honest with you. Family, God, God, family, all the things.
Yes.
Your job. But if your football team loses and it ruins your weekend, some people think that's ridiculous. I don't. I just think that you care. And at least you care about something.
Well, sure. Yeah. And you got I think you have your over diehard fans.
Yeah. Don't shoot anybody or, or
go kill
poison
a bunch of
trees.
Yeah, a bunch of trees, but that was kind of a dumb statement, man.
Yeah.
We as Atlanta Braves fans, if the Braves, as I just said, if we win, if the Braves win the World Series, we won the World Series.
When Cubs won the World Series in 2016, I said we. And doggone it, I'm still going to say we. Because
yes.
You know what? I've been following that team more than most of those guys
have
been
even
playing.
Exactly.
Been alive or playing.
Right.
So I'm going to use we.
Yes.
Suck it up, dude. I don't care. You're a strength and conditioning coach at a private school. No one cares.
No one cares.
You're a dime a dozen. Right-handers that throw 85 in the big leagues.
Yep.
You can find 1 million of them. So that's my rant. I hate when people tell especially useless people like a strength and conditioning coach at a private school want to tell people how to be a fan. It's like, come on, dude.
And was probably a jerk about it.
Yeah. Worry about your squats and your armbands and, having your guys do useless stuff like take a sledgehammer to a tire. Never understood that drill.
Just trying to get somebody hurt.
Yeah. Or, watch an idiot be an idiot, but that would be funny. But still, I'm just stuff that doesn't make sense, has nothing to do with football, but, we decide we have to do it because it looks cool on a hype video. Anyways, but that's my rant. If you want to say we with when it comes to your team, say we. Have fun, be invested, get involved. Don't break anything or yourself,
right?
Hurt anybody or do something stupid. But it's okay to be invested. It's okay to be a fan. It's okay to get upset. And most importantly, if you want to say we, just say.
Just say it.
All right. Well, that will do it for xSports Live tonight from Hinie's BBQ. For Dusty Kaiser, producer extraordinaire Kevin Wright, I'm AJ Good. Got a busy weekend coming up. Pair of rivalries going down in Lawrence County. Got Loretto at Summertown. That's coming up on Friday night at 7 o'clock. And the cowbell returns. At the Hendricks Tech Stadium, Giles County against Lawrence County. We'll have both of those games here on the xSports Network. So, also got volleyball coming up tomorrow night as well. So, for now, for the crew, have a good evening.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the xSports Network.